He failed, then failed again, then again. 12 times in total, 12 funded account challenges, all blown, all lost, all documented. Most people would have walked away. Most people do, but he didn't. He didn't just survive the failures. He built his edge on top of them. And the 13th time, that's when it clicked. That's when everything he learned, everything he refined, finally aligned. And it paid out, not just in dollars, but in confidence, in clarity, in peace. This is the story of a trader who turned a dozen defeats into a blueprint for discipline. This is Anonymous Edge. He didn't grow up thinking he'd become a trader. There were no finance degrees, no Wall Street dreams. He was just someone who hated being average, someone who couldn't stand the idea of living the same year 40 times and calling it a life. So when he discovered trading, something in him lit up. The freedom, the challenge, the idea of getting paid. To be precise, he was sold. But like most new traders, he thought it would come quickly. He didn't expect the uphill battle, the emotional storms, the mental breakdowns that come not from the market, but from confronting your own impatience, your fear, your ego. He thought he was prepared, but he wasn't. His first funded challenge? He passed the first phase in 3 days. He was hyped, ready to scale, telling himself, this is it. I've got this. Then he failed phase 2 by one trade. Just one oversized, impulsive trade. He told himself it was just bad luck. Didn't journal it, didn't reflect. He signed up for another one the next day. Failed that too. This time, in phase 1. Tilted, overtraded. Tried to make back a red day in one session. He didn't see it then, but the pattern had already begun. Challenge after challenge. He kept trying, kept tweaking his strategy, kept blaming the firms, the spreads, the market volatility. But deep down, he knew the truth. The issue wasn't his strategy. It was his discipline, his psychology, his mindset. He didn't have an edge. He had a theory, a setup, an idea of what might work. But trading, real trading, doesn't reward theory. It rewards consistency, execution, emotional control. He didn't have that yet. By the 6th failed challenge, he considered quitting. He told himself, maybe this just isn't for me. He looked at friends working jobs with steady paychecks, no stress, no uncertainty. But the idea of giving up, it made his stomach turn. He couldn't walk away. So instead of quitting, he slowed down. Stopped applying to new challenges. Stopped chasing the fast payout. He gave himself time to actually learn, to study, to build something real. He printed out charts, studied his past trades, marked them up, color-coded his mistakes. He started journaling. Seriously, every trade, every thought, every emotional reaction. He didn't focus on the outcomes anymore. He focused on the process. What time of day was he trading? What was his state of mind before the entry? Did he size up too quickly? Was the trade aligned with his plan? He just treated himself like a science project, tore himself apart, and slowly he began to put himself back together. It was brutal at first, because reviewing your worst habits is uncomfortable. It hurts. You see how often you sabotage yourself. But that pain, it turned into clarity. He realized he wasn't a bad trader. He was just undisciplined. He didn't need more setups. He needed structure, So he created rules, strict ones, max one trade per session. No trades before 9:30 a.m. Screens off after 2 losses. Only trade when well rested. Never after poor sleep. He tracked his performance like a business. Weekly reviews, monthly breakdowns. He built dashboards, visualized his edge, and then, when he felt ready, he tried again. Challenge number 13, and this time, he passed. First phase, second phase, clean execution. No tilt, no chasing, no improvisation. It felt calm, almost uneventful, because the drama was gone. He wasn't proving anything anymore. He was just doing what worked. The payout came 3 weeks later. 5 figures. His first. But he didn't celebrate with a champagne. No Instagram post, no flexing. He just stared at the screen. Quietly. Grateful. Relieved. Not because of the money, but because he knew now he could do this. Not once, but again. And again. He kept his risk small. Didn't let the payout go to his head. He knew how quickly ego could wipe him out. So he reinvested in better gear, in courses, in mentorship. He started talking to other traders, not for tips, but to stay grounded. He built a small network, a circle of people who shared the same mindset, process over profits, longevity over hype, and together they pushed each other, not to trade more, but to trade better. Today, he's passed 4 challenges, managed multiple funded accounts, and still he keeps the same rules, same journal, same slow, deliberate pace. Because now he knows consistency is a mindset, not just a metric. He doesn't chase anymore. He doesn't compare himself to other traders. He competes only with the version of himself that took that first challenge, the one who blew it in 3 days. He's not ashamed of that version. He respects him because that guy showed up. That guy kept going. That guy failed 12 times and still came back for more. When people ask him now, what's the secret to passing a funded challenge? He just says this: fail, fail often, but never waste the failure. Because every blown account taught him something about risk, about timing, about patience, about himself. He says he's not special. He just didn't quit. He didn't rush the process. He didn't let losses define him. He built discipline brick by brick on top of every failed attempt. And now, he's got something most traders never develop: resilience, the ability to fall and get back up stronger, the ability to lose and not lose himself, the ability to stay in the game. When the game stops being exciting, he keeps every failed challenge login, doesn't delete the history, doesn't erase the past, because that's his real portfolio. Not the payouts, not the profits, but the path. 12 failures, 1 edge, and a mindset built to last. This is Anonymous Edge, and this was episode 3. From 12 funded account failures to his first 5-figure payout.